Welcome into Celtics Late Night. Ben Vallis here along with Jake Eisenberg. And Jake, the Celtics, they are back in the conference finals. Jaylen Brown has played 8 NBA seasons, and this will be his 6th trip to the ECF. Feels good, Jake. How you doing, man?
Whew. It does feel good. It does feel interesting. What an interesting experience this playoff run has been. Mm-hmm. Because I experienced so much anxiety in this series and last series, and the Celtics are 8-2. That's 2 5-game series, and we're sleepwalking our way to the conference finals. In hindsight, what am I worried about, Ben? Double-digit wins, cakewalk every time, no stress. Just stop watching the games, Jake, and then and check the score at the end, and it's Celtics by 15 every time.
We want it so badly. I think the guys want it so badly as well. And anytime they have like a prolonged stretch of bed shitting, you can at least half attribute it to the pressures that come with like not only, of course, wanting it like they have every time, but like sort of feeling like they probably deserve it, feeling the pressure of the entire NBA fanscape being like these guys, you know, they've been in the conference finals pretty much every year of their existence, but they've never actually won anything. They've only won the conference once, made it to the finals once. So there is a lot of pressure there. And that's what makes it so torturous. Is that a word? Torturesome? Torturous?
Torturousome. Torturistic. Very.
We're all feeling it. There's a collective clenching across the Celtics universe. And we're not going to be able to unclench until we see them hoist a banner and the Larry O.B. So 7-2 in the playoffs. They won this one 113-98 to 8-2. Thank you. I have to update my notes.
Yeah.
Thanks. Do the math. 113-98 to close this one out. They are. This is where I messed up my notes. They're 7-0 in the playoffs when holding their opponent to under 100 points. And this one, no Donovan Mitchell, no Jared Allen, no Karis LeVert. They did have Marcus Morris, though.
They did have Marcus Morris.
10 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 6 from 3. We'll get to the real story in a second, being Al Horford. But just sort of macro thoughts on this one, Jake.
Insane that Marcus Morris did this tonight. Like he's the only reason this game was close for as long as it was. Like he ends up, what does he end up, man? He had those 2 monster threes late in the game. He ends up 10 for 13, 5 for 6, 25 points. The last time he had 22 points or more was the 23rd of October in 2022. That's when I went back to check. I'm going to have to go back to the season before to see if he even got above 25 points. Like the last time he got 25 points or more was the 6th of January 2022. That's
shit ain't right.
Or whatever it is. I don't even know. The dates are backwards in Basketball Reference. Should be the Australian version. I can't believe people do date, the month, then the day. It's ridiculous. Regardless, he left his body. If you're an OG weird Celtics Twitter person, Marcus Morris's nickname, Flask Dad, made an appearance tonight. And, man, we needed that game in 2017 in Game 7.
Oh, yes.
That's what we needed from Marcus Morris, not 6 years later in the Garden for a closeout game. But, yeah, man, he was obviously excellent. I thought it was a classic case of Celtics didn't bring the requisite defensive intensity in the first half, let someone like Marcus Morris, who's the reason he has a 10-plus year NBA career is because he's good at getting buckets. He puts orange ball in basket. That's the way that he's made his money. 6'8" dude that does that. As washed as he has been for the past couple of years, they let him get comfortable. Anything can happen in one game, and then he's comfortable, he's confident, and late in the game, he had those 2 monster threes when it felt like the Celtics were basically about to end it. One right, Drew Holiday, perfect contest. Peyton Pritchard, perfect contest. Splash. Jaylen Brown apparently is translucent enough where a ball can transport through him. The ball went through him on one possession and Marcus Morris hit another one. That was the only reason they were kind of in this game, especially late, was a Marcus Morris out-of-body experience. But macro-wise, I don't know, going back to the regular season where it was like, are they trying to do side quests? I feel like they kind of did a side quest tonight. And it's like, we kind of need some practice with games that are close in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, we're going to get to the finals and have not played a close game. They've got 2 close games. It's ironic that their 2 crunch time games have probably come against like the 2 worst opponents is in the Mitchell-less Cavs the last 2 games. But, man, they were excellent in the fourth quarter, crunch time, which has been a big question with this team. A lot of poise, not perfect, a lot of poise, got to some big, good shots, good actions, good defense. Conference finals, here we go, baby.
Yeah, pretty consistent on both sides of the ball through most of the game. Then slightly before midway through the fourth quarter, they come out of a timeout. 3 minutes of insane lockdown defense, which was all they needed to get it out to, a double-digit deficit. And from that point, a couple of bullshit Mook Morris threes. I think you said it was Drew Holiday, had his fingers up Mook Morris's nose on one of those shots, level contest, and he still knocked it down. You erase those, and it's really that 3-minute stretch of just insane scrambling, high-level defense coming out of that timeout that just put the game away from the Cavs' perspective. Conference finals berth, here we go. So it's like there were large stretches of dominance in this one, but it only really took one to seal the deal.
Correct. I hate that it had to come in a closeout game, but it felt very similar to the last 2 months of the season, where it was like you let the Wizards hang around, you let the Hawks hang around, and then it was like a 5-minute stretch and the game was over. That was like what it was tonight. And it shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that, but it was. And we know they can crank it. When they crank it, it's very obvious. And they cranked it in the second half, and it was like, Cleveland doesn't really have an answer unless you're getting these miracle shots from beyond the arc from guys that are barely in the NBA.
Everyone's kind of terrified, rightfully so, of the Nuggets after that insane Jokic performance yesterday. But the thing is with this roster of ours, if they play the right way, for 48 minutes or probably 40 minutes against a team like the Nuggets, and our top 6 guys, if 4 of them play the best version of themselves, a win against the Nuggets or anyone is entirely possible. We just need a prolonged stretches of the greatness that we've seen spurts of, certainly throughout the playoffs, but the regular season as well. And that is completely possible. And we just have to hope that there's this sort of coincidence of finally coming up against a team of that quality and our guys elevating to the top of their game for prolonged stretches. Entirely possible. We still haven't seen it happen. And so this whole thing of show it to me in the playoffs. Regular season's been great. 64 wins, fantastic. Show it to me in the playoffs. Here we are, wrapping up 2 series in just 5 games. Yet there's still that show it to me in the playoffs question, I think, looming, because we haven't really shown it for a prolonged period against a really talented team. But certainly the signs are there that they could and should. So we'll see. But anyway, that's probably a conversation for...
Yeah, of course. But you can easily contrast that with the Nuggets, right? They took the Wolves... They did not take the Wolves seriously. Sure. And they went into a 2-0 hole. The difference is they're playing the Wolves and we're playing the Cavs. And we could not take the Cavs seriously and we can still win the game.
Yes.
And so, even last year, man, the Nuggets lost 2 games to the Suns in games that, took out-of-body experiences from a couple of guys. They're not alone, the Celtics, in not rising to the necessary level to blow someone out when they should in the playoffs. Because, the other team's trying to win the game too. And they came in, Max Strus came in with his Florida Panthers fucking jersey, trying to stoke the fire of whatever rivalry he has made up in his brain. And they came to play. But, the Celtics, it is hard because this was a 15-point line tonight. Mm-hmm. I actually had a friend send me a screenshot of a bet that he made. It was Cavs plus 14.5, plus Tatum also going 25 or more points. And he lost the bet. But it's these lines are massive. And so mentally, it shouldn't, everybody should have come with the same effort intensity that Al Horford did tonight. But they didn't. But we know they can. And they know that they do against teams that are legit and games that matter. Anytime they lose a game, they follow the next game up with a ridiculous defensive performance. When they lose game 2 against the Knicks next round, I'm just going to try and remember that.
Let's get to the full, real story of how this game was won, and it's because of this guy.
In this kind of atmosphere.
Playoff Al, baby! Playoff Al!
Hey.
Playoff Al, Jake. He's back.
My guy.
He heard the criticism. He responded with an insane level of energy. I realize I've said the word insane like 5 times now. It's clearly at the bubbled up to the surface of my vocabulary. He was playing like a young, spry 35-year-old Al Horford in this game, Jake. Dick Lipe had this. Horford in the closeout win over Cleveland became the first player in NBA history, regular season or playoffs, to amass at least 20 points, 15 boards, 5 assists, 6 3-pointers, 7 offensive rebounds, and 3 blocks. Unreal.
It had Game 7 Grant Williams energy to it. Like, it became clear early on in the game that Al Horford was going to be a central figure in this game. And he was absolutely ready to rise to the occasion, man. To go from where we were after Game 4, where everyone's talking about Tillman, Tatum at the 5. Can we find a way to get Horford less minutes? It's not fair to expect him to rise to the level of a 35-year-old Al Horford. It's not fair to be asking him to play this role. Like, I think those were the rational people. There are plenty of people being like, he's washed, he's cooked, and whatever. Like, that's true to an extent in that he's not the same guy that he was as the 34-year-old, 35-year-old Al Horford. But to look like that and to struggle like that, not just on the defensive end, the way they were hunting him, but to go 0 for 10 over the last 2 games from 3, and then to follow up that with a 6 for 13 night, when it was like the Cavs know that they're going to have to leave him. They're going to have to help off Horford. You're not going to, just leave him wide open as if he's Andre Roberson, but they're going to have to make decisions against this Celtics offense, and they decided that we're going to help off Al Horford. He's 0 for 10 over the last 2. He struggled in the playoffs to shoot last season. Is he getting old? Do the playoff minutes impact him more than regular season minutes as a guy who shot 40% plus 2 straight regular seasons? The answer is no. The answer is no. Al Horford went to his cryo chamber over the past 36 plus hours, and he came out, dude, 22, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, a team high, plus 26. For him to lead the team like he did today, off the back of struggling like he did in the last game, is literally inspirational in every sense of the word.
7 offensive rebounds as well.
Come on.
Did a triple take at the box score. Here's one of those offensive balls.
Tough pass, White. Holiday, 3 seconds to shoot. Horford lets it fly. Ball batted around in the corner. They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
He has just had a really huge impact on it. You see how that bench got up and applauded the veteran for the great effort here.
Soaring out of bounds like a beautiful aged bird taking one last flight. I mean, hopefully there's many more flights and many more
flights.
seasons.
But he approached that possession like it may have been his last flight. He's like, who cares, man? I'm letting this thing go. I'm emptying the clip. I'm not going back to Cleveland, dude. Everyone knew that we needed to get Al Horford rest. Al Horford knew more than anyone else. He's like, I'm emptying the tank tonight, boys. I'm getting this win. And I was watching the Garden Report just before, and Josue Pavone was talking to Tito. I mean, I'm just going to call Tito a Celtics legend at this point as well. Talking to Tito, and Al Horford texted Tito the night before being like, I'm paraphrasing, I'm sending these boys home. I'm sending these boys home. And
Tito Horford, one of the great Celtics dads.
Dude, one of the great Celtics dads. The Celtics family members are kind of, slowly building into a really strong collective between Deuce, Tito. It's a really strong group. I mean, we had 3 generations of Horfords in the building tonight. I mean, they should probably make sure that they do that every night, because clearly he found extra power from having both his son and his dad there tonight. I mean,
it's inspiring.
Can't say enough.
dude, Horford's defense on Darius
Oh, my
Garland
goodness.
out on the perimeter, especially after watching him getting cooked for the most part the last few games, to see him come out and seriously lock him down to the point in the fourth quarter, he locked him down so hard that he seemed to pull up injured. Darius Garland, that is. Like, he just got completely locked up by Al. He tried to get a shot up at the hoop, missed, fell out of bounds, and came up clutching his quad muscle while Horford just, like, strutted away like the beautiful man that he is. And for him to have that agility seemingly out of nowhere, that's why I say 35-year-old Al Horford, because, like, 2 years ago, he could kind of handle that for longer stretches. And in this game, we were saying in the playback, like, you're going to need to take Al out soon. There's no way he can switch this all game. And, you know, there were some games, some possessions where he played in drop, and obviously we spelled him with Luke Cornett. Cornett played 12 and a half minutes in this one and kind of got attacked ruthlessly when he was out on the court. Al continued to take the switch and continued, for the most part, to lock down Darius Garland. Insanely impressive. Darius Garland is a shifty, twitchy, highly agile, athletic guard that most defenders would struggle to stay in front of for the duration of a game. And Al Horford, 37 years old, big fella, been in the league a long time, tough playoff series so far, stays in front of him the whole game. That is just completely unbelievable to me.
So impressive, man. So impressive. There are very, very, very few centers in the NBA that can handle switching like that. And it was all game. It was all game. They tried drop early, and it was very clear that it was not going to be tenable. And they went to a switch everything thing, and Horford just took the challenge, and that was it, man. Darius Garland ends the game 4 for 17. And he had a really good game last game. Incredible game last game for Darius Garland. And today just had nothing for him. And for the 37, 38-year-old to be the guy to go from getting cooked by the youthful 23, 24-year-old last game into this game, and for Garland not to eat in that matchup, and for it to be the complete opposite, he kind of tanked their offense at times by just going at Horford over and over and over again. And that's the power of the switch everything defense. If you can have guys, if your weakest link or the perceived weakest link can hold up, it just makes it really difficult to generate offense consistently. And for Horford to come out there and he had him. Man, I can't believe how easily, it didn't want to say it was easy, man, but he just had him. He had him. It was the 400 years of NBA experience versus whatever minuscule amount relative to Al Horford that Darius Garland had. And that's what that felt like tonight.
Yeah, he just reached down deep into his soul and found some, like I said, 35-year-old Al Horford magic to pull out when we needed it most. We're going to come back with some even more Al Horford stuff, but here's a quick word from our sponsors over at PrizePicks.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. March is over, but the biggest moments of college basketball tip off in the month of April. Be a part of the action on PrizePicks for both men's and women's college basketball. And get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. You can even make the play-in rounds seem interesting since we all know the Celtics won't be there. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 fantasy sports app. Personally, I'm looking at Derrick White more on points because they are criminally low, and we all know Derrick White is going to come up big in the postseason. So download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100.
PrizePicks, download the app, use the code CLNS, get yourself a good deal, supplement your viewing experience. Al Horford, Jake, we would be remiss to move on.
No, we can't move on. This is the game. This is the series. We needed to close it out, dude. The Celtics were giving so much Atlanta Hawk Game 5 energy in the first half.
Yeah.
And leaving the door open for something like that to happen where you have to go back to Cleveland to close it out in 6. And he's the reason that we're not doing that. He's the reason that we're going to get himself more rest, give everyone more rest. You never know what's going to happen in one more game. Does someone get a turned ankle. It doesn't matter. We've got a bunch of Al Horford content queued up in the StreamYard right now. So, I mean, here's 34 seconds of us reacting to Al Horford being a god in the Celtics blog playback stream earlier today. Go through here. Oh, now there's too much help. Found him, though.
Didn't get enough out of that.
Oh! Al!
Yeah, big boy.
Big dog. Someone come with him. Go.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Bang!
Al Horford again.
Al Horford.
It's just
Tito.
Grant Williams vibe.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He's the
I
best.
just want to live in that moment. But we've got a conference finals to get to.
We have a conference finals to get to now, but now get off your feet. Good to go. I guess probably get to the moment about with him embracing TD Garden, man. Like she's not an emotional, like outwardly emotional guy consistently, but there have been plenty of playoff moments where he has shown that emotion and shown that passion. Like it's not an accident that Al Horford has played more playoff games than 99% of NBA players. It's not an accident that he's one of the most winning players in basketball history, not just NBA history, going back to college. Like, this dude is a competitive motherfucker, and he hates losing. He wants to win every night. He wants to win a chip, and tonight you really saw that. Like, I think we go to the clip here of him embracing the Garden, and then he's got some awesome comments about having a connection with the fans of Boston, and also like TD Garden particularly. So we hit the here we go.
So that was recorded and posted by Noah Dalzell, I believe, from like up in the second press box, like up in the balcony area. And you can just hear how ridiculously loud the crowd is. He comes out, he daps up his dad, Tito Horford, daps up everyone on the bench.
He got so
Crowd
many
starts
high fives, dude.
chanting MVPs. Yeah, but he's such a vet. Like, his high five game is like
Dude,
some
he's just
veteran shit on its own. Amazing.
He's
Dude's been
locked
doing
in.
it for over a decade. He's
the king.
incredible. And then after the game, this is again from Noah Dalzell from Celtics blog and CLNS in the post-game presser, Al Horford talking about his connection with the fans in TD Garden.
That's special. It's special when you're here at the Garden. This is something I just don't take for granted. The energy of the fans. Our fans, they love the Celtics. They want us to play hard. They want us to play the right way. And I just felt very connected with them tonight. With the way that we were playing, that we got it going, I felt like there was that connection there, and there was just a few times that I wanted, to be embraced by them in those moments, and that fuels me, that fuels our team. It was pretty special here tonight.
Just Al, if you want a Celtics fan to embrace you, I'm available.
Yeah.
Putting that out there. I'm sure Jake's free as well, in between mistress duties.
I was gonna say, yeah, we did get to just enough to get the suite at the Marriott booked in Boston tonight. But
excellent.
like, hey, so Al Horford, you're free to take your pick of Celtics fans tonight, because. But isn't that so awesome, man? Like to have a guy, similar to Kevin Garnett, in that a guy spent the vast majority of his career with the Hawks or the Timberwolves, and comes to Boston and finds a new home and finds a new connection, not just with the teammates, but with like the fans. Like, real fans, real ball knowers know how important Al Horford has been in the 6 years that he's been here for the Celtics. Like, he just gets wins, man. And he's so right about the Celtics fans just wanting you to play the right way. Move the ball. that play in the corner to save the ball in the second quarter to close the half in a moment where the Celtics are kind of finding a little bit of momentum. When he's making those types of plays, and for the fans to like appreciate him for that stuff, and for him to feel that and want that is just, hey man.
Yeah. His
Give it to me.
relationship with the Jays as well, I think, is super underrated. Like, he's been there their whole NBA lives outside of a quick business trip away to Philly and OKC. For the most part, he's been with them the whole time. And you can see little glimpses, little moments where that sort of comes to the surface, and you can see how close they are, and that sort of veteran to, initially rookie, and now the Jays are veterans in their own rights, but just how Al has kind of been there to nurture them on the court. I think there's a difference there, what a player can achieve on the court from that leadership standpoint, as opposed to like heady coaching stuff. And there's only so much they can do from the sidelines and like behind the scenes. When you're out on the court, to have a guy as locked in and as mature and as tenured as Al Horford out there with you all the time is just incredible. And often we get these really good on the court Tatum to Al connections out there, like they, from an X's and O's perspective, like they're really locked in and play really well together as well. So hopefully Al gives us at least another year or two of that.
Well,
Looks
yeah,
like
you see what he does all regular season and what he did tonight. Like, we got at least one more year of him being close to this. He's like not a guy that's going to fall off a cliff. It's going to be like a gradual decline. So maybe you lose 5-ish% every year, or that's like a curve. Like it's 5%, 7%, whatever. But he and also this is not just like incredible. It's really great to appreciate Al for what he's done for the Celtics in this moment. But also this is really important for the Celtics going forward, and really encouraging for the Celtics going forward, because we don't know what's happening with Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
We can win the next series without KP as well. We don't need him to beat the Knicks or the Pacers. It would be very, very, very nice to have him there. That would make me feel much better about us getting out of one of those series in 5 games if we had Kristaps Porzingis. But going into a next series when he goes 0 for 10 after struggling in the playoffs last year shooting the ball, to have a night like tonight where he goes 6 for 13, going into next series where teams are going to have to make choices, as I said, to defend this team. If Al Horford is now fresh and impactful and reclaiming the confidence and the consistency in his 3-point shot, like, it's so important for this version of this team. Like, if I'm just kind of mentally, KP's not here, he's not here until he's here. So I am mentally at a place where we're playing the Pacers and the Knicks without KP. We can dive into like whether or not that's real or what, or how close he is with all the reports we've got. But me mentally as a fan, and I think that's probably how the team's approaching it as well, is like, KP's not here right now. He's not going to be in practice. What does this team look like right now?
Yeah.
And this team right now with KP, with Horford, he's got to hit shots, because that's going to be a place that they're going to have to they have to give something up. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be that guy. Well, maybe not now. And that's the thing why it's so important. Do they feel comfortable leaving Al Horford open if they know that the big dog can knock down 6 or 13 from 3? Because like, if he can, then good fucking luck beating the Celtics. And we've got big news here. We've got big news. I'm getting word. I'm getting word. Here we go.
I beat Sam here. What a bomb!
You did.
It's looking like it. This is good.
So slow.
This is perfect.
Jack.
Hello.
Thanks
This
for
is
joining
great.
us, man. We have just done, I think we've just given the people 25 minutes on Al Horford alone.
Hell
do
yeah.
Do you care to add another 2 or 3 to that as we bring Sam up
Dude,
as well?
What a game, man. This was the Al game. I'm still at the Garden. I got to go right in a little bit, but I wanted to pop in and say hi first. Like, just everything you wanted from Al Horford. I tweeted it out like when Al missed his first couple shots. It's like, this is the way they're playing. They're going to leave him open. You need him to hit the shots if you want to have a chance to win. He hit the shots, and he did way more than that. The defense, the hustle, the pumping up the crowd. This was the best crowd at TD Garden by far, and it's all thanks to Al Horford. Just when you think he's like on his last breath, it's just again, back. Just gonna do it over and over again. Al Horford is just, what a legend.
Sam, welcome. How about them Celtics? If you're not familiar, which I'm sure you are at this point,
Get familiar.
legends I like to think, also taking a moment to appreciate. Look at these four youthful gentlemen on the screen right now.
That's right.
Al
Very
Horford,
generous.
this crew right here. It's great to be with you guys, and Jack bringing the knowledge from inside the garden. But Sam LaFrance, he's been carrying late night over the past couple of weeks here.
No.
And I know they didn't wear white tonight, which I know,
did.
I know you're gonna fucking respect
Someone's gotta
basketball.
do it.
Yeah. Sam, you've got the Kevin Garnett hat on. How are we feeling?
Celtics in 5.
That's right.
That's right. I'm feeling great. Probably dropped the funniest one-liner on the pod after the game, so the morning be there.
Yes.
Killed Jack for 30
Absolutely.
seconds.
Let's go.
Feeling hot. Good engagement night on Twitter. Celtics win in spite of the equipment manager. Tatum does a little nod to the equipment manager in the post game. Like, we are hot today. It's excellent. They didn't screw around. Jack mentioned it. Greatest home crowd performance that we've gotten in the playoffs so far. Like, this is the type of thing you go back in like August and watch when you're like, damn, I wish I was watching Celtics right now.
Can we get a quick heart monitor check in? Because I know it's been interesting. Because like your record,
You want a live
108
one? The game high.
I want game high. Because I know game 2 against the Heat, that's the running record with the beats per minute here at a 108. 88, I think, was the last time you were on. Today, Gabe had a special kind of anxiety between closeout, all the guys being out. So what did you get in today?
I got up to 81.
Oh,
and it
chill.
was I believe it was when they started to slip up in the fourth a little bit. They had like the weird, oh, we're up 14. Just kidding. No, we're not. We're only up like 7. And that got me going a little bit. I was none too pleased during that little.
I'm running about a 75 right now. I just took my pulse.
Just took your
Don't worry
pulse.
about it. I don't need the heart monitor. I don't need any technology. Come on.
Old school.
My mom is just the best. I was sitting on the couch watching the game, and I have like the heart monitor. And she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "I've been doing this every game."
You gotta
Like, we're
log into my
10
Twitter
games
feed,
in.
Mom.
We're at
Perfect. Okay,
50, 59 right now. I'm excited to be with the fellas.
A marathon on it. I'll be back in 2 minutes for a bathroom and beer break. And now we got
All right.
No worries.
the crew to carry me.
Grab
here.
one for me,
Perfect time.
Jake, while you're there.
I'll grab one for you.
Appreciate it. I got to ask you guys. So you're in the Garden tonight, Jack. You said the crowd was they popped unusually so for this playoff so far. What was the difference there tonight with the crowd?
It was Al Horford. I genuinely like the whole crowd. We were talking about this on our pod, which it'll be out tomorrow. It feels like the crowd just expects the wins, and so they're not gonna get juiced up unless it's a closeout game or it'll mean something more than just another win, because the Celtics have set such a high standard for themselves. And Al is a guy who is so mild mannered that when he gets pumped up, it sort of riles everybody else up. So Al Horford, throwing the ball. I forgot when the first time he did it was, because Al Horford went over to the crowd a million times in this game. But there was one point, I think it was a defensive possession, where he got a stop or got a block or something, and he just walks over to the crowd and he just goes like, yeah, and you see an entire row start cheering, and the whole building starts cheering. And a few plays later, he hits a 3, and the crowd just pops. And like, I was sitting there like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what TD Garden's been missing. So
Fuck yeah.
all Al Horford.
You just so rarely see it from him, Sam. Like he never has those emotional outbursts. I don't want to say we're deprived of it, but like you kind of wish you got it more than we did. And then when he finally busted out, balls on the table, Al Horford, everyone gets a little aroused, I think it's fair to say. What do you reckon?
Yeah, he's all in. I'm all in. I'm ready to roll, man. Just watching him do the Jordan celebration when he hits the dagger 3 to put them up, 14, 17 points with like a minute and a half left. Just gives the crowd everything that they're looking for. And as fans, I think we all needed this. It's been a weird start to the playoffs where, one, they haven't been very consistent at home since they came back from the bubble. Actually, since 2018, because they lost both their second round home games in 2019. So it's been a while since they've really, really laid it down at the Garden. But tonight kind of helped alleviate some of that weird eggshell pressure that the crowd seems to have. Like, there's a lot of speculation whether it's like boredom, ticket prices, and I lean into I just don't think they trust these guys at home anymore. So they hesitate to get into games. But to see them get into it today made me feel great. And I'm just happy we got some awesome clips out of it. As stupid as it sounds.
Feels like one of the first sort of signature moments of the playoffs so far as well, because it has been pretty quiet and pretty like lackluster as far as the pressure. I know we felt it with the Heat especially, and then game 2 again against Cleveland, but this feels like one of the first like sort of player-based signature moments that, you know, will feature heavily on the championship DVD if we do get there.
Okay.
Now, because this will go up on the podcast feed later. I'm sure people probably want us to talk more about Al Horford. I think we've given you about 30 minutes of Al Horford. So hopefully that quenches the Horford juice thirst out there. But Jason Tatum in this one assist away from a triple-double, 25 points and 10 boards as well. Just one turnover, which was a pretty disgusting turnover. So I kind of want to strike that from the record. And he's 4 steals as well, 9 of 16 from the floor. We call this a captain's knock. I think, Sam, you're familiar with the concept of a captain's knock now. Jack, if you're unfamiliar, it's sort of a cricket reference. It sort of refers to the captain of the cricket team, like batting throughout the entire innings and keeping his team alive through his own individual prowess. So Tatum, he just kind of chipped away at this game, right? Like, it wasn't like he didn't really have his own signature moment in this one either. It's not like he had this one massive scoring outburst at any moment in the game. He was just consistent and chipped away and ends the game with a sexy stat line. Jack, what'd you see from Jason Tatum with this one? I thought it was an incredible performance.
Yeah, I was talking to Sam about this on the show. It's just like it felt like he did everything he's been doing the entire playoffs, but he made like 2 more shots. And so it just looks all that better in the stat sheet. Like, this is the way Tatum's been playing ball the entire playoffs, outside of maybe game, what was it, 1 or 2 of this series. He had a really, really bad one.
2.
But he's just playing 2. He's just playing a style of basketball where it doesn't matter how many shots he's taken. I went on this rant, like, he's taking less shots in the postseason than he did in the regular season. Like, you look across the league, like Brunson's taking more shots, Luka's taking more shots, Ant's taking more shots, but like, that's not what this team needs to win. The Celtics team needs Jason Tatum to play team basketball and defer to the rest of his teammates, because the Celtics have such a talented roster that when other teams inevitably throw, 2-3 bodies at Tatum, he can just pass to somebody else who's capable of making a play. Teams throw 2-3 bodies at Anthony Edwards, he's going to make a tough shot. And credit to him and SGA and all those guys. They are making those tough shots, and that's why they are getting all the credit. But Tatum is just passing those up for better opportunities for, very talented teammates too. So Tatum did everything you want to see from a superstar in this game, everything the Celtics need him to do to win a championship. And it worked to perfection in this game. So he deserves all the credit in the world for what was probably his best game in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice 3-game streak now. 33 on a weirdly uncanny identical shooting stat line between games 3 and games 4. But I don't know what it needed, why he had that weird game 2. It doesn't really matter now, obviously, but defensively, I don't think he was as crazily impactful as the last couple of games. Still solid, still excellent on the boards. But yeah, just like really, I've been using the metronome analogy a little bit. He just kind of ticked along through the game. When you needed him, he kept the pace of the game. He made a lot of plays. I thought the fourth quarter was really good for him, like making really big plays, kicking to shooters. He was one play away from it basically being a perfect fourth quarter, I thought, where he had a wide open dunk and he just like decided to drop the ball off, which turned into a turnover, which hurt because that felt like it was like supposed to be a moment for the Garden, that he was supposed to throw that hammer down and we were going to get out of there feeling real good. But other than that, though, he almost gets a triple-double. Exactly. It was a captain's knock. He controlled the game. Again, it is one of those things where you play the results, and you should. This is the way that sports work, right? Like, there was definitely points in this game where I was screaming at the screen, like, about tempo and about pace, and he was part of that. It felt like they were a little hesitant at times because the way that Cleveland was playing it by hedging and recovering. And so Tatum was calling a screen over, and the Cavs would hedge, like Sam Merrill would hedge, and then we just end up with Marcus Morris on Tatum with 6 seconds less on the shot clock than if he just ISO'd Marcus Morris to begin with. But then he started to pick up the pace, which led to that big pull-up 3, which led to him just like playing like the superstar that we know that he's capable of playing like, was just, okay, they're giving me what they're giving me, and I've got to go. They're creating space for me because they don't want to switch Merrill onto me. And then he was just going. And then it was over.
I thought that the Celtics did a tremendous job in the fourth quarter today overall, which is not usually the case. So the Celtics this year have been tremendous at winning the clutch moments in the games that don't really go with the clutch moniker. They usually take control. They do a great job of like stomping out runs before they happen. They don't really let teams get momentum going. Then they end up with these blowout wins. Well, today was like the opposite. It was like they didn't do that. They let the Cavs hang around a whole bunch of times. But when the game was actually close in the fourth quarter, they did a tremendous job. Jack brought it up when we did our post-game recording, 11 field goals, 10 assists in the fourth quarter. The ball moved. The late-game offense was a lot of what we like to see. We saw Jaylen Brown making good decisions, Tatum also making those good decisions, both of them 3 assists down the stretch. Just a tremendous showing of how to close a basketball game. Finally, from these guys, even Holiday moving without the ball, getting himself easy layups. Like, these guys just got to the front of the rim off the baseline drive. Somebody cut down the middle, and Jalen hit Horford for a free one, and then Drew Holiday was the beneficiary of another. Just easy, controlled baskets. Finally, didn't need to see a ton of ISO. And Jack, you mentioned this when we were talking. Even when they did go ISO, it kind of felt like they didn't, because they actually looked for the kick.
Yeah, Drew Holiday in this one, 5 of 5 in the fourth quarter. We found him in the dunker spot. It felt like 1,000 times. I've never seen us find him in that spot more than once or twice a game, and we just like kept delivering him the ball. Credit to him, he kept putting himself in that position, finding the seams in the defense, and putting himself in a position to receive the ball and score. But 5 of 5 from the floor, good for if I do my maths right, 8 points, not bad.
We'll take it.
Thank you, guys. Where else do we want to take this one? Jaylen Brown seems like the. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
Well, Drew Holiday had an interesting game because defensively, I thought he was really excellent again. And I think in this series and for the playoffs so far, he has been really dominant on that end. And he obviously had 2 incredible offensive games in a row here. And then at least in the first half, it was like, oh, we got evil Drew back. We got the bad Drew back. He threw that like turnover to the baseline where Tatum and him ran an action. And Tatum was trying to post up, and Drew just threw it not even anywhere near either of the players at that point, and it just went out of bounds. I was like, oh, we can't get both Derrick White and Drew Holiday playing well at the same time. That's what it's felt like in the playoffs so far, at least on the offensive end. Defensively, they've both been more consistent, but offensively, Derrick White was excellent in the first half, but Drew Holiday I thought was inconsistent. But then he did rally for sure, and ends up with a nice stat line there. But funny game for Drew, but as long as he's bringing you the defense, can you guys explain to me why his trigger has like disappeared from the corners? Like he's passing up all these like easy looks in the corners. He's turning it into some okay stuff here and there. But Jack, like I feel like he's getting looks in the corner and he's just like, it's a playoffs, man. It's hard to find looks. And you're Drew Holiday, who shot 60% from the corners this year. You're getting a catch and shoot opportunity. Just fucking let that thing fly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's almost like the Celtics as a team have done some of these weird pump fakes all over the 3-point line. And Drew in the corner is definitely like the biggest one. Doesn't make any sense considering they average like 40 fucking threes a game in the regular season. Like you mentioned, it's worked because he's gotten into the post. He's been really good from that spot. So I think he's been solid, but you just kind of want to see him let those fly. Same thing with Al Horford and everyone else. But I don't know. Hopefully you can get that going. I will say I'm going to head out of here, get my writing done so I don't have to stay at the garden until 3 a.m.
Out of here, will you?
If I have to talk to this motherfucker for more than 10 more minutes, I swear to God, I talk to him too much. I can't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll be on in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
Thanks,
absolutely,
Jack.
man.
Thanks
Good
for
to
joining
see
us,
you.
man.
Appreciate
Yes, sir.
you.
Peace out,
That's Jack Simone. Get out of here. Go write something for us.
Go be useful.
Yeah.
How about them Celtics podcast? Check it out. YouTube, podcast feeds everywhere. And Sam, you're going to hang with us for a little bit?
Oh yeah. I'll hang out. I don't have work tomorrow, so hang out. Took the week off. They were trying to get us to go back in the office. I said, give me those days off. I'm not coming.
Excuse me. No way.
Jaylen Brown, 7 assists in this one. An unusually high amount of assists for Jaylen Brown, but that's not where the anomalies end. Well, maybe they do. It was just I don't want to say a predictably bad game from Jaylen, but it's typical of Jaylen Brown to occasionally put together a stat line like this and failed to truly assert himself in the game. He also had some just crazy fall asleep moments. We talked about the Mook Morris threes earlier. One kick out to Mook, I think it was from Darius Garland. It appeared to just go through Jaylen Brown's body and arrive in Marcus Morris's hands, and he splashes the three with Jaylen Brown physically there in front of him, but doing nothing to deter the shot. Sam, what do you think of Jaylen's performance on this one?
So Jaylen's performance is really funny because he was a key or prime example of less is more. Didn't really force anything. There weren't a lot of bad Jaylen moments in this game. There wasn't a lot of, hey, look at this. I'm going to shoot a turnaround at the free throw line when I really don't have to. He just kind of took what was given to him. He did a good job of penetrating to the basket. He did a good job of making the extra pass. And because of that, everything got easier for his teammates. Just look at the way the shots fell today. You had 9 for him, 9 for Holiday, 17 for Derrick White, who finally started making some threes. Same story with Horford, who took 15, finally had his three, find the bottom of the net. And, of course, Tatum gets his. His decision-making on these drives was a huge get for the Celtics today. And if they're going to keep going in the playoffs, hopefully that they will, he's going to be a big part of that. Him not forcing tough layups when he doesn't have to is going to make this team go so much further, because instead of taking tough layups with long outstretched arms trying to prevent the ball from going in, they might shoot open threes. And that rocks from a openness perspective and a math perspective.
Absolutely. I want to make sure we talk about Derrick White, because I know
we will.
Okay. Because he was excellent, especially early, and it felt like the Celtics in that first half were teetering a little bit, and I was very, very happy that I had purchased Celtics insurance. Sam, I know you paid good money for tonight's win. No Celtics insurance tonight.
Did not.
Wow.
I lost. So I had a lot on the series. So I just was like, well,
okay.
If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose. And it's going to happen at the end of the week, not today.
See, that's the thing about this series. At no point did I ever actually feel like that they were going to lose a series. Actually, this tweet right here was exactly how I felt during the series. Not for a single second did I think the Celtics would lose the series, and not for a single second did I experience joy. Truly a fascinating series. Yeah, kind of felt like that's why I never bet that the Cavs to win the series. I knew they weren't going to win the series, but I know I was going to hit on one Cavs win, which was game 2. But yeah, so I went Celtics insurance, both $25 pre-game, $25 going into the fourth quarter, and that was my Celtics. And so I've paid good money for Celtics W's so far in the postseason here. But in the first half, when the Celtics came out hey, Cleveland, do you want to go? Do you want to take a 10-point lead? Do you want to take a 12-point lead? Because you can if you want. But Derrick White was a guy that has been obviously incredible for the Celtics all season long, incredible for the majority of the playoffs, and then switched bodies with Drew Holiday in this series. And it felt like this is probably the best game for both of them combined. Maybe, I guess it's hard to say that when you look at Derrick White's game 4 where he had 38 points, but as far as both of them kind of playing well offensively. But Derrick White in that first half was 6 for 11, 3 for 5 for 3, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks with 0 turnovers. Leading scorer in the first half when they needed it, man. And it was awesome to see him kind of regain that composure and regain that confidence. So the mistress needed it, and he didn't need him in the back half of the second half.
This whole notion of Derrick White and Drew Holiday can't perform well, at least offensively, together at the same time is troubling. And it's something that is going to need to resolve itself before we face whoever we're going to face in the finals, if we are lucky enough to get that far, potentially in the Eastern Conference Finals as well, because that's why the team is assembled this way. It's the amount, we don't have a top 5 player. Tatum is close, but he's not top 5. We need everyone firing on all cylinders, everyone performing at their best to have a chance against those upper echelon Western Conference teams, the Nikola Jokic's of the world. So it's happened too many times. It's too high a volume of this occurring where either guy has a good game, neither guy has a good game at the same time for us to file that away as a coincidence. It's a thing that happens. So they need to resolve that. I'm not sure what it is, if it's just deferring to each other, if it's, well, this guy's getting up a certain volume of shots. I can't put up the same volume of shots myself. I need to find another lane in this particular game, but they need to figure it out. Shout out to Aussie Phil in the chat. 130 people in the stream, only 40 likes. Please smash that like button, subscribe to How About Them Celtics and the first of the 4 YouTube channels. Be greatly appreciated. Just on Jalen very quickly. Someone in the chat said that neither of these shows, I'm guess referring to our show and Sam's show and Jack's show, that we don't rate JB properly. I don't want to speak for you, Sam. I rate JB so highly that I am appropriately disappointed when he has a poor game or a poor stretch of games, because I know his potential and what he's shown us is so strong, so promising, that when he doesn't rise to that level, especially in the playoffs, it's appropriately disappointing. So every time we talk badly about Jaylen Brown, we get at least someone in the comments saying, fuck you guys, you don't like Jaylen Brown. We love Jaylen. It's just that we know he can do better. I'm kind of sick of saying
I think I'm pretty good to JB. I like JB. I'm a fan of his. I think there are times he gets a little bit too much tunnel vision. I think Jack hates Jalen. Not really.
Get him. Fucking yeah, Jack's the problem, dude. Now that he's gone.
Like, I hate this guy. He's the absolute worst, and everybody killed him for it. But no, I think we kind of hold him to that same standard, like you mentioned, Ben, where it's like we understand he's excellent. We expect excellence. And it's the same thing that happens with Tatum. That's why Tatum gets so much crap. From me, at least. I don't give him like national media levels of crap where I'm just like grasping at anything I can to down in shit on him. But like there are times like the pull up threes, I'm like, did we really need that? Did we really need to see the tech today after like they're like dying to make any kind of separation? They finally get up 2-3 possessions. He's like, guess what, Tony Brothers? I'm going to give you the wave that's like an auto tech when they do that.
Come on.
That's an auto tech. Like guys do the wave, they get techs. It just is what happens.
They don't though. That's
Jack
what's so
gave me the
annoying.
same thing, so maybe I'm wrong.
That's like I've been like I saw PJ Washington wave off whoever was refereeing that game, and I'm like, you're fucking telling me that PJ Washington gets to be more demonstrative than Jason fucking Tatum? You gotta be fucking kidding me. But two things can be true. He should not have taken the tech, but also he shouldn't have got the tech. Back to Jaylen Brown. Sorry.
He was great.
Yeah, look, Tatum obviously great. Jaylen, not his best game, but we know he can do better. So I just want to make sure that has been articulated clearly.
The reason I've talked about Derrick White, we haven't had the chance to show this video yet that someone submitted to the memes Discord, the meme channel on the First of 4 Discord, because Derrick White has been garbage for a couple of games, but he's back. And so I think I gotta run it.
Let's see it.
Here we go.
We live in a cynical world. A cynical world. And we work in a business of tough competitors. I love you. You complete me. And I just had...
Shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
Who made that?
That's Heisenberg. I believe.
The great Heisenberg.
Good work.
The king from First of 4 Discord that has, we'll call it a monstrosity. I think that's fair to label it with whatever that was. But Derrick White and myself
plugged a machine into your brain and extracted that while you were dreaming. Derrick White. Yeah, it's good to see him get his shots up. And like you said, first half, to see him be efficient again. We've been wondering where that was. Seems to be back. Remains to be seen whether he and Drew can get it done at the same time.
Like it is very important because going back to making decisions about defending this Celtics team, coming into the playoffs, I was like, I don't have a number that I would like choose. If you could tell me a number about Derrick White, there's going to be no number that I can be like, he had a good playoffs. It's subjective with Derrick White. He needs to be like aggressive. And tonight it was like they're sending 2 at Tatum on all of those actions, and they found Derrick in a bunch of stuff, and he had to be aggressive, and he was. And they needed it. So like that's going to continue to happen, and he can't lose confidence. He has to continue to remember what he's capable of, because it's so important to the success of the Celtics team.
Good. Sam, got anything?
No, I'll go. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jake. I think this was a big confidence spot for everybody. I think you did get like a pseudo double good game from these guys. Like they combined for 31, had 10 assists combined too. Like thought they showed up at oddly enough, like opposite ends of the game. Derrick White was the starter. Drew Holiday, like we mentioned, managed to get himself in good spots to succeed in the fourth. So you did kind of get that. But I mean, I see what you mean. It wasn't exactly like the efficient Derrick White game that we had seen early on, but the threes were there for him, which was pretty good. But then if you take away the fourth quarter from Holiday, he was 0-4. So
Yes.
you need more of a widespread performance. And thankfully, this team is so talented that you don't necessarily need both of them to show up on the same day every single time. But it sure would be nice. And it's another reason why the Horford game today was so encouraging because, like, we just did, like, what was it, 5 total days of maybe Horford's dead talk? He was 0 of 10 from 3, and people were like, he's getting cooked on defense. And not only did he score well today, because I didn't really get to get in on the front at the beginning, he had possessions at the end of the game. He was guarding Darius Garland so well that Garland literally had his leg muscles give out because he could not get past Al Horford. Like, that's how bad he had him in jail.
Yeah, dude. Incredible. We'll add that to the 30 minutes on Al Horford we did at the beginning. And I don't think that we can overdo it on Al Horford on this one. We're going to take a quick moment to hear a word from our sponsor, Game Time, and then we're going to come back and close out with some MISC points on this Game 5 closeout win.
The NBA playoffs have been awesome so far, so it's hard to not think about trying to get to a couple of games. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down closer to tip-off, which makes it great for last-minute decisions to maybe fly to Boston for the NBA Finals. My dad is literally on the way to Boston from Sydney right now for Game 1 of the second round, and he used Game Time to get his tickets. Game Time has awesome features like seat views. You get a sweet panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. You get a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Just getting those warm fuzzies as I'm sort of the realization that the Celtics are back in the Eastern Conference Finals is starting to like truly nestle inside of me somewhere. It's a good feeling. Game Time, of course, great app. Check it out. Buy your tickets through Game Time. Use the code, get a discount. It's all good stuff. Miscellaneous points from this one. I'll start because I've only got one. I wish I had more, but weird day with work while trying to set this podcast up. Peyton Pritchard, huge 3 in the third quarter. Again, third game in a row.
Every night.
Yeah, timely every single time. And like Pritchard, I think we got a nice little pop from the bench in this one overall. Sam Hauser hit a big 3 at one point in the game, but Pritchard 3 of 4 from 3 on this one, 11 points overall. And you just need a little scoring punch off the bench. And throughout this series, at least, Pritchard has been able to give it to us, I think, every game except for one. And that's just so necessary, especially when you need spells of rest for your primary guys. And just the timeliness and now the consistency of that big third quarter nut punch 3 has just been incredible. So that's my missed takeaway. That's not really worthy of its own segment. Sam, you got something sort of within that category for us?
I mean, I love Brass Balls PP. That's my guy. He's been excellent in these last couple games. A lot of people on Twitter, this really isn't a me gripe, but a lot of people on Twitter crying about Tillman. So I guess we can talk about that man just hanging out courtside seats for free. Not bad deal.
Gets paid.
What's going on there? I'm too bad Jack's gone here, but Jack, are you a coward and you refuse to ask Joe Mazzulla about what happened to Xavier Tillman?
Doesn't want to ask tough questions, only wants to ask about rainbows and sunshine.
Exactly right. What the hell, dude? Like, because it was very clear in this game that the switch everything defense was the way to play defense. Luke Cornett, I mean, PP gave you some minutes. From like a field goal percentage point perspective, the bench was actually totally fine. Like, Cornett 3 for 3, Pritchard 4 for 7. Yeah, 3 monster nuts threes in 3 straight third quarters from Pritchard. Sam Hauser had his signature Carmelo Anthony pump fake drive pull up 2, which he is making a more consistent staple of his game, which is interesting. But yeah, the bench was whatever. But like, where is Tillman? Like, why do you see him in game 2? They lose that game, obviously, but he was a bright spot in that game. And there's been so much discord discourse about the bigs and Horford, etc. But like, switch everything was the move. Are you telling me that Tillman can't switch close to the same level as Horford for 5 minutes tonight? And I don't understand it. And it's slightly concerning to me a little bit, honestly, with Joe, in that it looks like rigidness and stubbornness. That's one way of looking at it. Or he's like, we're going to win. We're going to win this game if we stick to this current plan, as long as we start executing better. And he's been right. So it's hard to fault him there. But like, we have him. We've seen him be effective defensively, and in the playoffs so far, where it's like, if the Celtics play defense and get stops, they can't be beaten right now. Story changes against a West team probably, but right now it's like, play defense, get stops, win the game.
My theory is it's the offense. Joe's concerns about the offense with Tillman out there. And this is coming from someone who was a huge supporter of the theoretical Xavier Tillman corner three all series, except now not in the playoffs when things are serious. But whether it's Cornette or Tillman out there, defenses can sag off and clog the paint. We saw it with Mobley today. It was what made Al Horford's game so good. Mobley was sagging into the paint. Horford started hitting his threes, kept Mobley honest, stretched out the Cavs defense, and eventually opened things up for the Celtics. When you've got Cornette or Tillman out there, that defense can sag off again. You can keep guys like Evan Mobley in the paint and disrupt the Celtics' ability to get in the paint. And it's way easier to get out to shooters as well because there's one less of them. And then at least with Cornette, the Corn Hub, cornhub.com, him operating handoffs in the sort of the post free throw line area, the elbow area, his handoff game is really good at like generating some good fluid ball movement based offense. And while that's not like a 5 out, 4 out, 1 in kind of level spacing, it's still enough to get decent enough looks for a few minute stretches while Al's on the bench. I don't think that Tillman has that same offensive capability as like a handoff initiator guy that Cornette has developed. And I think that's what's keeping Tillman on the bench this series at least.
Sam?
I think it's the trust thing. Somebody in the comments had it. World did. Joe is just a big trust guy. Like, you didn't see Hauser last year in the playoffs, despite him getting some burn in the regular season. And it just seems like he's got his guys. That's who he's going to go with. He thinks Cornette's going to be the one that eats real minutes when Porzingis comes back. He's going to be the third big. Probably just wants to get him up to speed. But it was weird that Tillman didn't come in this game, especially when you guys mentioned, like, Cornette was not helping this team in the ways he usually does when he's great. He was still, like, trying his best. He was trying to set screens, but Cavs were giving him the Al Horford treatment, and he wasn't shooting threes. And he can shoot threes. I know that he hasn't shot threes this year, but he can shoot threes. Made 1 for 1 in his last one and for the season.
He can shoot threes. That I'll agree with. Should he be shooting threes? I swear every time I get the update from How About Them Celtics when I get the Tillman shooting corner threes update. It's very important.
Personalized message.
And it makes me way angrier than it should, but it's fine.
Makes you root for misses out of spite. I can respect that.
I'm like, I hope he comes in and misses so many threes. No, I would never. Please come in and make 1,000,000 threes. It goes, yeah, and the trust thing is absolutely fair, and then now it becomes like a problem that you can't fix, where it's like, why do they not play him more in the regular season when they had a 14-game lead on the Eastern Conference? So so you can create that trust. By the way, he also had a game winner against Sacramento. No trust there, Joe. The man's a dog. The man's clutch.
Only game winner. Only game winner on this whole team. Should have been out there in the fourth quarter. Tatum can't make game winners. How many tries has he had this year? He sucks. Yeah, guy loves throwing the ball off the back of the rim with the game on the line. It's his favorite thing.
Yeah, and that was a really organized possession as well against the scintillating, defensively sound Sacramento Kings team. I'm joking, of course.
That's right. I mean, how different was that Sacramento Kings team without...
That was the best game of the season.
Whoever was playing
all laughs.
Versus... Yeah, the De'Aaron Fox Sabonis team scrapping for a play-in spot versus the Stay Ready crew. I believe they're talking. It's confounding a little bit to me. And it does concern me a little bit going forward from Joe. Just like, you got to be willing to try something in the playoffs. I think like you got to be willing to for something to fail for 5 minutes. Similar to how you have to be willing to to fail as a player. Like, you have to kind of just let it fly, because you play hesitantly or tentatively, you're just not going to see the same results as if you let it go. And that's what not playing Tillman felt like a little bit. And that's okay in this matchup. It's probably okay next matchup too. And maybe this is going to not matter at all because KP's going to be back for game 1 of the next round. So who cares? But
so on the KP thing, there's been no real reports, but all the sort of anecdotal stuff coming out of people who are around the team, I think maybe including to but not limited to Jack Simone, is that he's walking like gingerly-ish. And I don't think we should expect to see him back, at least in the like first few games of the series, if at all. But we'll see. Obviously, everyone is keeping a close eye on what's going on there. We are running over time, so we've got to wrap this one up. We are going to be back tomorrow. Full podcast. Wayne Spooney joining us as well for that one. Wrapping up the game. Obviously, there's more detail that we could have got into tonight, as well as just a look back on the full series. A look ahead as to what the conference finals matchup might be. We'll speculate wildly on what's going to happen there between the Pacers and the Knicks. And we're also going to record the latest edition of our Underrated Plays series, looking back on the 5 games of this Celtics-Cavs series. So lots going on tomorrow. Sam LaFrance, love your work, man. How about them Celtics podcast? You want to tell the people where can they find you and any closing remarks on the series?
Closing remarks, probably should have been 4 games. Have to say it. But no, thank you guys for having me. I love doing these shows with you guys late at night, especially if I'm not dying tired, which I haven't been. So thankful for that. Like you mentioned, how about them Celtics on YouTube? Jack and I are going to have a full pod for you guys in the morning. And we're live for Talking C's usually in the mornings, Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Celtics the Roundtable will be at 6 p.m. tomorrow. I don't know when you guys are streaming. I don't think you go up till 8, so it won't even be a little crossover. So you can catch both of them. And then, Jack and I are live for pregame, so don't want to miss any of it. And Celtics blog I do right there a couple times a week, usually try and get something up there, whether it's serious or not is another story.
Yes, I'll never forget the deep dive into the 2-for-1 that Jack Sam.
That was serious. It just turned out I was really wrong, and it sucked.
Yeah, we were all wrong. We were all wrong because it feels awful. But definitely check those guys out. And we love Sam stopping by, we've got to have someone up late. We'll give a call to the show Celtics late now. We've got to have someone that's staying up way too late talking about the Celtics. So it is great to have you here.
You fit the late night vibe well, Sam. Just like it's like 90% relief that the Celtics just like didn't fuck it up some way.
That's true.
10% like analysis and whatever else. So we're very
like, oh my God, they actually closed out a series at home. I can't believe it.
Hey, this is what we fucking wanted, man. Coming to this playoffs is like, don't do what you did against the Hawks and don't do what you did against the Sixers. And while it hasn't felt awesome, they have not done that. So 2 5-game series going into the conference finals is all you can really hope for. Sweeps are way more rare than you think. And so here we are, conference finals, 8 to go.
Absolutely. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like I said, back tomorrow. Sam, Jake, love your work, guys. Jack as well. Until next time, go Celtics.